Hi, everyone. We are getting to the point in writing where we're almost ready to publish our stories. So, yesterday you looked at the rubric and you looked at ways to make revising changes. Remember that when we're revising, we're thinking about the different choices a writer makes when they structure, craft, develop, and create their story. These choices don't always have a correct right or a wrong, but there's ways that we can make our story better and improve our story to make it move up the levels and show all the different techniques we know. Today, we're focused on editing. Editing is about right and wrong. It's about fixing those pesky spelling and grammar errors in your story. So I'm going to show you some great digital tools we have to work on today. The first thing you need to do is go to your story in Google Docs. I'm showing you this icon to the top left corner of my page. That's how I know I'm on Google Docs. And you should see your name and title of your story here. I've made it anonymous by just calling the student. So that's how I'll refer to them throughout this video. The first thing you need to do is make sure your language is actually on English. Okay, my students are bilingual, so you guys might have your language on something else, like maybe you have it on Latin American Spanish. We don't want that. For this class, we want our language on English. And I'm putting it on United States because that's where I'm from. Okay, so now that the language is correct, we're going to go to Tools and Spelling and Grammar. Now, make sure all three of these things are checked, that you have your spelling suggestions and your grammar suggestions on there. You'll notice that in the text, there's already a lot of words that are underlined with red. Now I can go one-on-one with each section and it's telling me here, you know what, I need to add an article, things like that. But instead, I want to use the actual tools from Google. So spelling and grammar check. Now you'll notice that there is a window that's going to pop up here in your top right corner. Let me see if I can move that around. All right, moving myself around instead. Okay, hope that didn't confuse you too much. So you've got a window coming up here in the top right-hand corner, and it's noticing here that you've written the word dinning, but it's supposed to say dining. So it's checking that, okay? And you can see how it highlights everything that's going that we're fixing here when suddenly, okay? And then it'll tell you the document looks good. So Google Docs is only able to capture a certain number of your spelling and grammar errors. But you can also get another plugin, which is called Grammarly. And I'm going to put a tutorial in on how to download that. Once you have Grammarly installed, you'll see other types of changes suggested. Like, for example, making sure all of your characters start with capital letter. Nobody has a name that starts with a lowercase, so we need to make sure we're always referring to our characters with a capital letter. This can make the beginning of checking your spelling and grammar easy so that when you go back through and read line by line, you're really working on making those big changes. So remember, go to your language, make sure it's set to English. Then go to Tools, look at Spelling and Grammar, and make sure your spelling and grammar are being checked, that you're showing the spelling suggestions and the grammar suggestions. Finally, for an extra boost, download the Grammarly extension for Chrome, and you can get even more suggestions that way. You can also use different tools like the dictionary that's available right here in the middle of Google Docs. So if you didn't know a word like purse, for example, you could look that up and you could already get the definition right here inside your Google Doc window. I hope that these tools help you, and I want you to use them as you are editing your September 11th historical fiction stories today.